the final segment of this one. We've seen so many things about Lamar Jackson's contract. So many things. People guessing numbers, people guessing when, people guessing if he wants to get extended, people guessing if the Ravens are hesitant to give Lamar Jackson his extension. Now, that last one is definitely false. The Ravens want to give Lamar his money. Steve Bisciotti, was it Steve Bisciotti or was it the new director of player personnel that said, when he wants to get paid, we'll pay him?
I think it was Sashi. Sashi.
Yeah. Okay. So, when we're thinking about Lamar Jackson's contract, so many people are talking about the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask everyone, do the Ravens need to extend Lamar Jackson? Whether it be, obviously, guys, we want Lamar Jackson to stay here. That's not the question. Stop commenting already. Do the Ravens need to extend Lamar Jackson before the season starts? Did they need to extend him before the end of this season? Or can they just wait and then when free agency hits, be like, all right, Lamar, now you get their money? Like, do they have to sign him before? Or are you worried about a potential situation where maybe he does leave because the Ravens hadn't reached an extension for some reason and he just takes some interview, I don't know where, in Miami or whatever, and ends up going there? Do we have to extend him by the end of the year? Are you worried if we don't, or are you fine with it?
I'm going to put it like this. 2019... he was in the trenches getting something to eat over at West Baltimore. Going into 2022 season, he was at one of the best HBCUs at the illustrious Morgan State. I know a lot of people is going to be watching it. I'm gonna put it like this: once you made the bond and you pretty much acclimating yourself, you getting to know people getting to know you on a different level, you really showing that you dedicated to the city. And granted, at the end of the day, someone still can make a business move for them. But I feel like, his word is his bond. And I feel like he really does want to stay in Baltimore. I really just don't, anybody, just says, oh, I love this city. I love being here, stuff like that. But I feel like the way he goes through the city, he circulates, he treats it like he's really back home in Florida. So what I like, you got, and then you got fans to look at it like this. If we pay him now, he's going to end up like Joe Flacco. When I say he's going to end up like Joe Flacco, he's going to start, not playing the Lamar type of football that we all grew and love. Now, you got other people's saying, okay, go ahead, pay him now. Young man, go ahead, get your money. Secure your bag because they plotting on your downfall. Me personally, what Lamar chooses to do, I'm riding with him. So if he's not worried about the contract right now, if he's focused about this upcoming season and getting right, listen, I'm focused with you, bro. I'm locked in with you. Whatever you trying to get done, you got my full support. I would love, and at this point, if he does win the Super Bowl, I do believe, the price has gone up even more than what it already was. Yes, it was a little discerning what Steve Bisciotti was saying about, all the guaranteed money that Deshaun Watson has received, from the Browns. But, we got to look at the Browns organization. The Browns organization has been ran piss poorly for a lot of years. Josh Allen, get that extension. I think it was like 280. I forgot how many years it was. All these moving pieces are happening. Lamar is not crazy. He is keeping an eye. And I know people say, oh, well, he ain't got no agent. That's he has lawyers. He has a team of lawyers. And a team of lawyers is just as good as having an agent. So don't think he's going to, the situation blind. I'm pretty sure, whatever the Ravens have offered him, it has an amount to, the blood, sweat, and tears he's put in to becoming a quarterback, the blood, sweat, and tears he has put in to, changing his franchise around. So, I would, if I was Lamar, I will worry about it after we win the Super Bowl this upcoming season.
Once again, muted Makana strikes. But Lamar Jackson is focused on trying to win the Super Bowl. And that's the biggest thing for him. And for the Ravens, I think it's okay if we don't sign him. Now, obviously, would I prefer Lamar Jackson signs his contract this afternoon? Yes, because I just like having that security in knowing, me being a non-trusting Oklahoma City fan who watched Kevin Durant, hop out and leave in the offseason because he didn't sign that extension. But I'm okay because like you brought up, Joshua, he loves Baltimore and he is always talking about Baltimore. He's doing things in the community. He's working hard, and the Ravens are very clearly working with him, and they are doing things that he likes. Oh, hey, can you bring in my, wide receiver? What is it? Jalen Smith, is that his name? From
Yeah,
Louisville. Can
yeah.
you bring him in? Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. What about, my former, high school teammate? I can't remember his name, Ionescu or something like that. It was very difficult to pronounce. It was French. Hey, why don't you bring in my guy Tyler Huntley? And they are doing this because they are trying to make him happy. They go out and they make big free agent signings. They bring in Marcus Williams. They bring in Morgan Moses. They extend Mark Andrews. All of these things are to show Lamar Jackson that they're trying. And so, even if the Ravens don't win the Super Bowl this year, even if they I don't expect them to struggle whatsoever, but maybe Greg Roman has other ideas. But basically, the biggest thing is they are going to make sure that at the end of the year they are set up for success. So even if it is a negative year and they don't do what they want to, maybe it's a first round exit, maybe it's they don't make the playoffs. I don't know. They're going to make changes and they're going to say, hey, we can't have that injury excuse. Or at least I'm hoping they do, because if they don't, this is a dysfunctional organization. And I don't think that we are. So, the expectation is that if it doesn't go well, they are going to change things. And the injury excuse is gone now. So if someone gets hurt and they're like, oh, well, we can run it back again. No, that was the excuse last year. You got to prepare for situations that have already happened to make sure they don't happen again. So I don't know. I just feel like the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, they're going to get a deal done. He's talked about how he's not trying to leave on Twitter. He was like, well, I don't know where these rumors are coming from. Like he is literally just not focused on it. And that's okay. It's like people that are in high school and, filling out their college admissions, applications. They're not thinking about that. I mean, are they thinking about school? No, not really. They're just thinking about having a good time. But that's not a great example. But they're doing what they want to do. Lamar Jackson, he wants to get better.
Let's take it a step further. Top prospect at a high school, and literally they could have early committed, but they wait to like the bowl game they're invited to commit.
Exactly. Like he just doesn't. It just doesn't matter to him like winning does. And so when he doesn't have an agent, he doesn't have someone in his ear every day being like, hey man, come on, we got it. We got to get this done. We got to get it done. And the Ravens aren't trying to be like, hey, Lamar, every day. Like, hey, you should sign this. They're like, hey, when he wants to do it, he knows that he can come and he can get his money. And he's just, I don't think procrastinating is the right word, but it's not on the forefront of his agenda of trying to get better, get back, rehab, and eventually win the Super Bowl. So I'm not worried about it. I think so many people are worried about it. Now, the big benefit is if he does sign the extension, cap space is increased and things like that. But that's the big thing. Other than that, like Lamar Jackson's not going to leave unless something drastic happens in the organization. And if that happens, we got bigger issues to worry about. If Lamar Jackson leaves, it's a lot bigger issues than just losing Lamar Jackson. It would be, oh no, this organization needs to change a lot of things. But I don't know. Do you have anything else to add on Lamar's contract?
I mean, honestly, that and it's a two-edged sword right now, because the way I look at it like this, also with him, playing next season, we got to see if real adjustments are made, because your quarterback only goes as far as the scheme goes. Lamar Jackson is a generational player, hands down. He's, you know, people call him Michael Vick 2.0. I'm calling him Lamar Jackson. Young man out of Louisville, you know, even doing his recruiting, even college recruiting, they wanted him to play different positions. Heck, University of Florida wanted him to wanted to give him a scholarship, but they wasn't going to start him. He wanted to start out the rip. Louisville was the only school that gave him that chance. When he got into the draft, what was everybody questioning? Hey, you ever thought about trying out, working out at running back, maybe wide receiver, stuff like that? Well, what was his answer? I'm a quarterback. What did he do when he finally got his chance? He took a 4-5 team and got us into the wild card. Granted, we didn't make any adjustments and things like that once we played against San Diego twice, but he got us there. Next thing you know, unanimous MVP out there breaking records, making things happen, and I believe he threw over if he threw or has over 105 touchdowns, more than Dan Marino at the age of 25. I had to double check my math, but TTB family, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he has 105 TDs. That's one more than Dan Marino at the age of 25. But so he's reached different heights, and every time someone brings up the different accolades, it doesn't matter. And even with the top 100 players, I believe they gave him. I think he ended up being number one one of those years as well. So yes, he's going to keep on doing what he's doing, but I feel like this upcoming season, if he doesn't have fun like he was previously, if things don't change with the scheme, we can't keep on having this back and forth of, oh well, Lamar did this. Yeah, Lamar's gonna have his mess ups. Lamar's gonna have those frustration plays. He's human. He's a player. But now let's not forget that one of those Hall of Famers, Peyton Manning, he wasn't the most accurate of quarterbacks, but he did get the job done. Tom Brady went through everything that he went through, and sometimes he still even came up short in some of those Super Bowls that he played in. I mean, if we want to talk about it, Eli Manning was his kryptonite at one point. So I mean, that just comes to say, all this we hold on this young man. Let this young man just play his game, play the style of his game, and let it be fun again for him. Because last year he was under distress. Hell, if I was under distress like the way he was, I wouldn't want to play neither. I mean, if even with that ankle injury, I'm glad they sat him down. He needs to refocus and recalibrate and reset. And hopefully this season, things are in motion for him to be more successful. I'm hoping that Gregory Roman, yes, I accepted the fact that we're going to be a run first team, but I'm hoping, with Gregory Roman, Keith T. Martin, Keith Williams, Brent Urban, and new quarterback coach, assistant coach Dixon. I'm hoping that all these moves are adjusted for us to become more of a balanced breakfast style of offense, us passing the ball more, us going in and one setback, with one HB with a three wide receiver set, not always the 22 personnel. Yes, I know we signed back our big pancake blocking Patrick Ricard for another 3 years. But I do hope there is more creativity. And also I hope this year is a more growth year for Lamar Jackson, because we have been saying it, that, in this offense, in this scheme, he has been held back to a degree. I would love to see more, play action in this offense. I would love us, making the deep threats. And I'm loving the fact that even he's having a full offseason on working with Rashad Bateman, which he didn't have last year. So, a lot of things is going to be put in perspective, how things are going to play out. And like I said, if we make those right additions, at the, free agency, after the draft, and even during the draft, we can be in the talk, because this AFC division is about to be real dicey. So we really got to come out there and really give it our all. And I feel like Lamar Jackson is locked in to the point where he's ready to show the world, that he hasn't lost a step.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing is just Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson, and he's a unique player. He's a unique individual, and he's going to do things his own way. And if that means he may wait a little bit to sign his contract, that's totally fine with me. He's made every indication that he's going to sign it. He hasn't made anything, at least public, that's like, oh, I'm unhappy with the organization or anything like that. Like, everything seems good. And he's super close with John Harbaugh. He's super close with Hollywood and Tyler and Mark Andrews, and they do their thing. So, guys, let us know what you guys think about Lamar Jackson's contract situation. Do you feel like he has to sign it before the season starts, or are you worried if he doesn't sign it before the season starts or before the season ends? Let us know, in the comment section down below. But thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for listening on the podcast platforms. If you're watching on the podcast platforms, giving us a review on Apple Podcasts really does help out the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, if you could go over and, just give a review. You don't even have to listen to the episode on Apple Podcasts. It does really help out with the, Apple Podcast algorithm or whatever. The more, ratings that you get, the more the podcast is pushed, so we can, get more new people into the Trust the Bank family. So thanks everybody for watching and listening. We'll see all of you again on Wednesday with our live stream.